Wildcat.
That was Rod Spall, everyone.
Brilliant.
I don't even know what Rod's job is. I couldn't even tell people if I wanted to. He does a little bit of everything. I'm Chris Korman, sports editor of the Herald-Times.
Actually started?
Joined by Dustin Dopirak,
I'm here.
beat writer from the Herald-Times. Dustin,
Yes.
Bill Lynch press conference today. What did you glean?
Wow. Not a whole heck of a lot. No, I mean the standard stuff that you get from Bill, that things are going good, they could be going better, and Michigan's a really, really, really good football team. And that's pretty much what he says about just about everyone. But, some interesting, I guess, topics were, asking about how they're going to handle being in the big house, because there's only 3 guys that made the trip as redshirt freshmen while they were
Polk,
redshirt.
Carrington,
And
Curlew?
Curlew, yes, were the 3 guys that went, and none of them played because they were all redshirting at the time. So I guess the question was, okay, well, how are they going to handle being in the big house with 100,000 people? And he did point out, well, we were at Penn State last year, so it's not like we've never seen, this amount of people or whatever. But it's still a new experience, and it's also playing against a Michigan team that they haven't seen before, and that is virtually,
Yeah, they've been off the
different.
schedule for 2 years.
They've been off the schedule for 2 years,
Yeah.
and
Coaching
which one
change,
is-
offense change.
Yeah, they're a completely different team than anything they face. So there's, but he says he feels good about that with this team. I mean, also they're playing Michigan and Ohio State back to back, and neither of which have been on the schedule the last 2 years.
Right.
And I asked him, well, is that strange to deal with, basically because it's Michigan and Ohio State, and you haven't seen those teams at all, and they're Michigan and Ohio State.
Sure.
And he said no. He says actually I feel pretty good about this team, the way they the way they are, the kind of experience they have, and just the kind of guys they are. I don't think I have a problem with it. So it was kind of not necessarily a bold statement, because it's but I
Coaches
thought that was
say
interesting.
nice things about their teams.
They tend to do that often. So
What about you went to practice though?
Yeah.
What was the actual scene like? I mean, was there any different feel? Were the players tight? Was it a good practice? Were they loose?
Yeah, I mean they were. It's literally been just like every single other practice I've been to, and I didn't notice anything much different than I've seen before. I mean, if anything, they're getting more positive because they've got some confidence coming out of Akron. I mean, that was by far the best game they played, and they feel like they're doing things pretty well right now. And I think Demetrius McRae actually told me that they're more excited for this game, for a big game, than he's ever seen them. So, again, they always say those sorts of things, but he said, they tended to get nervous when they were playing bigger level competition before. So, how that plays out exactly, I don't know, but it seems like at least morale-wise, they're in pretty good shape.
This is what happens when you have 35 upperclassmen, and some of them have played major parts in a bowl game, and we're on the field for a last-minute field goal that got into the bowl game. It's just a little bit of a different feel. Going into Michigan though, and just the discrepancy in talent that they're going to face, going from Eastern Kentucky to Western Michigan to Akron
to Michigan. It's going to be major.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's, if you even watch them on TV, I mean, there's maybe only one game I've watched them very closely, but I mean, you can even tell by the highlights. I mean, those are some serious athletes that they've got over there.
Yeah, freshman quarterback Tate Forcier is just, just
more
a
or less
natural.
perfect for what Rodriguez wants. I mean, he's not Pat White in the sense that he's not as good of a pure athlete, but like he seems to be able to do everything. I wouldn't say everything Pat could do, but everything that you're supposed to do in that kind of option.
He runs
run
it
it
well
enough, and like he's very good on the run, throwing the ball. He's very slippery. He's very good at escaping pressure, even if he doesn't necessarily make a 60-yard gain out of it. Like he's still going to be able to get out of the pocket and make some plays on the run, be able to make some throws on the run. I mean, he has a lot of there's a lot of options, a lot of things he can do.
And Indiana's had a little bit of trouble winning at Ann Arbor, right?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, God, my dad was 16 the last time it happened, so like, yeah, it's been 42 years. 1967, the Rose Bowl season was the last time, and in that period, they've beaten Michigan at home once.
Okay.
Once. So you take from that what you will.
More practice tomorrow, right?
Yep, indeed.
Anything they worked on special today?
I mean, they're obviously.
Who was running quarterback for the scout team?
I saw most of them. I saw Keel do it, and I saw Creevy, who's the
Connor Creevy.
Connor Creevy.
That was pretty good though.
Good. But yeah, they obviously were running that kind of stuff, and it wasn't just running the spread. I mean, they were doing the zone reads and all the things that you know about the Rodriguez offense. And he was obviously running around in the pocket a lot, doing those sorts of things to kind of get them ready and give the defense an idea, a look of what they're going to see.
What's your story on for tomorrow?
Just kind of looking
This
at
is the editor speaking. I need to know.
Yeah, I probably should tell you this. It's terrible. No. No, I'm just kind of doing a story on the offense and just the sort of how things are really starting to come together. I mean, they have at least all the elements that they wanted to have in place. I mean, now they got Willis and Burgess, and they have those two options of guys who can, gain extra yards. They finally got the line working and not committing pre-snap penalties. I mean, don't know if you realize they've only given up 1 sack.
Wow,
that's it. It's kind of stunning stat to look at and think, wow, Ben Chappell's only been put on the ground once so far, and that's I think there might be one other Big Ten team that can say that. So they're starting to have some things come together with Evans and the Wildcat, and the receivers have been playing pretty well all year, have at least been dangerous. So it's kind of looking at all the elements sort of.
Yeah, that's one thing. Whether or not IU has any shot at Michigan, and it's obviously such a tough place to play and such a tough team to play. This IU team's definitely gotten better each week. You can't deny that, and it's improved in areas it needed to. And that's sort of it goes back to coaching, which was the overarching question of this year, whether or not Bill Lynch was the right guy. It's still out there.
Has it been answered? I don't know. But,
but this certainly anyone looking for evidence and saying, okay, can probably see, well, they did get better in these areas.
I think the pre-snap penalties kind of said a lot, that they brought in refs for a couple of days and pretty much did it. They kind of snapped him out of that and kind of got rid of that problem.
Well, those are bad penalties to have to begin with, though. So.
Well, obviously, that doesn't say a lot that they were having that many in the first place, but they made the point and they got it. They got it taken care of.
All right. Well, we'll have more coverage tomorrow. Dustin will be back out of practice. Also, Tom Crean speaking to the IU students tomorrow at the auditorium. I'll be out there to cover that. Hopefully, you'll join us for some of that Hoosier Scoop. Herald-Times Online.com. We'll see you then.